What are the benefits of having two cameras rather than just one? Today I'm going to talk about that with the Sony ZV-E1 and also the a6700. So the first most obvious answer is just having two different points of view. So you can shoot me here with one camera, and then you can shoot me here with another camera. But the trick right now that I'm doing is I'm actually just using the same camera for two different shots. But if you're doing like an interview or anything like that, it's nice to have two different cameras to be able to shoot two different shots through the entire sequence. Now, that's one of the more obvious answers, but another really good answer is just for convenience. And this is one of the main reasons why I shoot with two cameras. It's nice to have one camera that's like 24 frames per second and then another camera for 60 frames per second if you're just doing video on both cameras. But for me personally, I mainly shoot video on one camera, and then on my second camera, I'm mostly shooting photos. Today, I'm primarily using the Sony ZV-E1 because this is my A camera for shooting video, and then my B camera is just gonna be anything for photo or doing landscapes or anything on the telephoto end. That's my Sony a6700. All right, so this is a perfect example right here. As I'm walking around, the waves are crashing, and I just found like a pretty nice photo. So I'm gonna take out my camera and set everything up. So I'm gonna set this down so I can get a good shot. I almost like the placement of the video camera, and this lens is not wide enough, so I don't know. It's not a great shot. And another thing that's really convenient is switching out lenses. So because I'm shooting with the ZV-E1, I can just pull out this camera. I don't have to worry about switching any lenses, and I can take whatever photo I need to get. So right now there's a bunch of waves just breaking right here, and they're kind of bigger than what they would normally be. So I'm just gonna take my telephoto lens and see how much wave I can get in the shot without getting wet. All right, that's enough. And another reason why you'd want to shoot with two different lenses is just for dust. A lot of times when you switch out lenses, you add dust to your sensor. If you're shooting with a Sony camera, that's usually an issue. There are some cameras like the a7 IV where you can actually lock the shutter, but most Sony cameras, you take the lens off, you expose the sensor, you're gonna get dust on it. And so that's why it's nice to have two cameras. So next up is focal length. If you have two different lenses on two different camera bodies, you're just gonna have a wider range for focal length. So if you're like a wedding photographer, you can shoot with a 24-70 and then have a separate camera body with a 70-200 millimeter lens on it. If you're doing landscapes, I like the camera I have right now, I can do wide angle shots. And that's why I like having an APS-C and a full frame camera body, because I can shoot super wide angle shots on the full frame camera body, and then on the APS-C I can shoot those telephoto shots like I'm doing right now with my a6700, and it just gives you more reach on the wide and the telephoto end if you want to be able to get those shots that you need. Now today, since I'm mainly shooting on the a6700, I'm mostly just shooting things on the telephoto end, but I can easily just use this camera and get 12 megapixel images on the wide end. And just having two different lenses is gonna be a lot easier for people that are shooting portraits or wildlife or sports. Pretty much any type of photography you're doing, it's just gonna be a lot easier if you have access to two different lenses right away. And that's just a whole lot easier if you have two different camera bodies. Now, I didn't really talk about this, but another reason to use two cameras is if you are doing YouTube or making YouTube content and you need a thumbnail, and maybe you're doing camera reviews like me, I normally need another camera body to shoot thumbnails. So if I'm showing one camera, I need at least one other camera to be able to do that. And another reason to have two camera bodies, if you want a small one to kind of travel with, it's perfect for that. And then if you have a larger one, for more maybe your professional stuff, it's nice to have the two. Maybe you're shooting with larger lenses and it's nice to have a larger camera body for that. But for everything else, I mean, I just like smaller camera bodies, so that's the main reason I have two. But yeah, it's also nice to have two just to travel with one and have a larger one for like professional work. And another reason is just for backup. If you have two camera bodies, one memory card fails or one gets stolen or something like that, now you have your footage on a separate memory card. Okay, let's talk about the cons for a second. So if you have two cameras and like they both get stolen, like you're pretty much screwed, so that kind of sucks. So for security reasons, it's probably better just to have one camera body. If you are shooting with two different camera bodies and let's say you're using two memory cards, your organization is just a lot worse. Like I've just noticed that when I have one memory card and I'm putting it in both camera bodies, I'm just shooting in one and then I'm moving it to the other one. It's just a little bit better if I'm doing like video or photo and it's all in one place rather than having two memory cards in two different camera bodies. It just kind of makes it a little bit more messy and you're not as organized. If you have two camera bodies, you're probably more likely to drop one. I mean, that's just kind of my guess. That hasn't happened to me yet. And another con is just you're never gonna master one camera body. If you're always shooting on two camera bodies that are not similar, it's hard to kind of master the one that you want to primarily focus on. And so that's another reason why you may not want to use two camera bodies if you're a beginner. All right guys, so that's it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry about the loud noise because of these massive waves behind me. They've been pretty crazy this last week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Hope you have a great day.